What an a-hole. He's like taking over, he's got his leg up. He's all casual. That's what I thought originally too. They could have... Is it possible that we could get two mics though? Because we're going to fight. Oh, you're awesome.
Oh, okay. Were we just doing introductions? Is that... Oh, okay. Yeah, this is general Q&A, right? Oh, okay, general Q&A. Okay, whoa. Oh, geez. It's not late enough for that yet.
No, it's good. That's the 18 number one we talked about.
Right, there you go.
Wait, what?
What?
What did I say?
All right, anyway, my name is Alexis Tipton. I'm an anime voice actress for Funimation Entertainment based in Dallas, Texas, as well as Okatron 5000, which is run by Christopher Sabat. We do video games and dubs of foreign live-action films. I also do industrial voiceover for a company called Splash Media. They're also based in Dallas, and I do stage and film as well. So just kind of all over the place. It's called Okatron 5000, and if you go on Sabat's Facebook, he says that as his job description, he is the High Lord and Commander of Okatron 5000. So, and don't challenge him on that because he will sabotage you. Yes, he will. No, yeah. Well, Christopher Sabat is probably the #1 prankster in the universe. April Fool's Day is a very scary time at Funimation. and also conventions with Christopher Sabat are very scary. He will break into people's hotel rooms. And yeah, he takes it very seriously, but he lives in fear of people pranking him back. So yeah, he doesn't take pranks very well. But yeah, but you know, it's Chris, so whatever.
We should get him to hang out a weekend with the Jackass guys.
Oh my gosh.
See that so he can get a taste of his own medicine. He's funny, I like him. He has good stories and stuff. He does. He does. All right, so are we going to multiply more, by the way? We have more coming?
Dante and I had an autograph session together, and then I don't know where he went, so I thought he was on this.
Oh, see how that is? Yes. So a couple other things quick. Magi, or what they're calling it Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic I'm working on. I'm Mazrur in that. Zetman, I've played Seiji Haitani, because I don't know if I don't have it. I don't have it. I got a couple of appearances on NFL Rush Zone, Excel World, Tron Uprising, so a couple of things. And I got my cheat sheet, so if you ask me about something, I can at least look and go, oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, you gotta have a cheat sheet. Yes, see? Oh, you gotta have, I love cheat sheets. So let's give us some questions. Something crazy, wacky, goofy. Is it, so when we meet other actors, is it awkward?
Yeah, conflict, you might not work with them.
Bless you.
Well, like right now, I've never met Pete before, it's really awkward.
Yeah. I feel really bad that I was like, my legs were all kicked up on the table, and she's there back there going like, hey, is he gonna make room for me? No! What's he doing? So yeah, it's a little bit awkward. And Tony Oliver is very hands-on, like he's very handsy with me, and that was uncomfortable. That's not true. That's right. I left too much of a pause. Somebody videoed that, and it's already going to go on just like that.
That's how rumors get started.
And I love it. I hope I'm blowing up on YouTube saying that. Yeah, Tony. I'll say it one more time. Yeah, Tony Oliver. He's a little handsy. He's gonna. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I was uncomfortable. It was weird. I think he meant it in a friendly way, but like patting your butt and stuff like that was weird. That's strange. I know he's Rick Hunter and all, but. Awesome. I've never had it be uncomfortable, really, I don't think. But I welcome the opportunity.
I dispute that, because I was at one of your panels. Respect, Mom.
How was that uncomfortable?
I don't know. There were a couple of parts of that story that I have to question whether or not you were uncomfortable.
Oh, just telling the story? Or I was definitely uncomfortable at the time. I can't tell that story here, though, because that's the 18 and over panel. Well, yeah, I can't cut out all the good parts. It's just weird. But yeah, well, I'm sure we'll tell that story again. Is that tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, okay. Definitely show up for that and remind us all the stories, and and I want to hear your stories. Joe. You have crazy stories.
Oh, crazy con stories.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good. See, I don't. I have to tell other stories from my life.
The con stories, though, they're actually because I assume that the floor is kind of open just to talk about like crazy interactions with either fans or in the industry or whatever. happened outside of conventions. So, which is weird.
Yeah. Those are good. Sometimes those are the best, though. We had a woman here one year that, for those who tell the crazy stories, like I didn't feel like saying anything because all her stories were like guns and death threats and bomb threats, and no, all of her stories were insane. Like it was just like there's nothing I could say afterwards.
I was a little uncomfortable one time. His family was really, handsy. His name was Tony Oliver.
There's like nothing you can say. I don't have gun stories and craziness like that. I just don't have it. I'll make some up though if I need to. I'll definitely do that. Yeah.
That can be your surprise panel.
That's it. Perfect. Surprise! Yeah, I'll make them up, and I won't know where the story's going, so it'll be a total surprise for everyone involved. All right, stump us. Give us a good something. Voice actors here. We have to answer your truth serum.
Do you ever dress up as characters that you've played previously for Halloween or for at conventions as cosplaying? Have you ever dressed up?
I dress up as all my characters. That's how I get into character. A lot of directors, when they first work with me, I probably make them a little uncomfortable because I do come dressed, cosplaying as my character before I'm even cast. I show up for the audition. What's hard are the auditions where you do audition for 5 or 6 characters. That's how we do it. It's weird. I got to do a quick costume change. I'm changing in there, and I'm like, hold on. I'm tripping. I'm trying to get on the. Right, yeah, the makeup's got to be right. Everything's got to be perfect. So I've never done it. I kind of want to, but I don't know if I would dress up as a character I did because I think that would go poorly. I think I would then want to do the voice, and then people would be like, "You don't sound anything like him." Oh my God! Don't do that.
We were talking about it. I think it was Hugh Jackman went to, I think it was San Diego Comic-Con, and he was dressed as streetwear Wolverine, walking around from the set, it's his official clothes from the movie, and he's like, yeah, nobody really wanted to take my picture, nobody thought anything about it, and one guy was like, not bad, another one goes, too tall. It's Hugh Jackman! What is your problem? Oh my gosh, that happens more often than you'd think. I've heard other people, or other stars, from Hollywood films, they do interviews, and yeah, I thought I would, get...
Surprise the fans.
Yeah, and but I just kind of I was just a phantom, moving in and out of the crowd, nobody even knew it was me. I actually have before, for promotional reasons, when Baka and Test came out, and we premiered the first 4 dub episodes, I did a Misaki costume. And then when Line Barrels of Iron came out, we did a photo shoot with the box set, and I cosplayed as my character for that. So it was buy the box set, look, it's all spiffy, woohoo, so it was fun though, it was a lot of fun.
I always get the spiffy box set.
Oh yeah, of course, you have to get the spiffy ones.
Get the spiffy edition.
The spiffy.
Spend the extra $10, get the spiffy edition.
Spiffy is up to interpretation though, so, it's whatever.
I get the one that's shaped really weird though. That's a pet peeve I have, and I'm going off the subject a little bit, but you guys watch Walking Dead? Some of you watch Walking. You guys know Walking Dead, right? That was such a lukewarm reaction for a really popular show. Yeah, we've seen it.
Just finished it on Netflix.
They don't do zombies justice. Zombies would never do that. We got the experts here. I was at Best Buy, and they have a huge special edition, and it's what's the guy's name that with the patch on his eye, and he had all the heads in jars. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's heads with jars. Jars.
Or
Open it up, and then there's a little Blu-ray inside. Who has room to store that? That's just, I don't know. That's weird. I don't care if it's a collector's item. It doesn't fit in my rack. I gotta have an organized rack of Blu-rays. I can't just throw things in haphazardly, shaped like different things. This one's a globe. This is a monkey's head. These are brains. This is a starship. I just don't have room for that. That's not what IKEA intended. That's exactly right. They don't make them for that stuff. Yes.
So I recently found out you voiced Nazim, and I don't think you'll be surprised to know that I totally wanted to punch that character in the face. Have either of you ever read lines and went, wow, I actually really, my character is super annoying?
Never, right?
I'm just happy to get work. There have been a couple of times where I've been oh, really, again? But at the same time, I'm wait, I have no right to get annoyed. I'm doing what I love. I'm getting paid to do what I love, and I'm working. So I need to suspend all judgment.
Nazim was supposed to be, I mean, like I said at the video game panel, this was on Skyrim, and I basically went in and did the same character for, and they placed it all throughout the world. So Nazim is just one of the like 80 characters that all look different and you find a different place but sound exactly the same. And it's, by the way, that's a way that I think they get around paying us for 60 characters. They go, no, make them all sound the same. It's one character. I still would have done it, but yeah, I knew he was, supposed to be this like arrogant, condescending male. That's exactly what the character was called. Like when I auditioned, it was condescending male. So with everything that I do, I talk like this, and it doesn't matter who you are, I don't care. Are you going to buy something or not? Like everything is just like that. So yes, I knew I was being super annoying. But I didn't know everybody was going to hate one incarnation of this character. For some reason, one dude, like everybody hates. They don't hate the other ones that all sound the same. But Nazim gets all the hatred. All of it. And I love it. I'm very proud.
That's another thing. Like, as actors, like, even if we're playing annoying parts, it's like, it's just fun to get to play different types of characters. I mean, so anytime we get to do something that either we're not used to doing or something that calls for something that's either challenging or something that we just don't have a lot of experience doing, or it's just fun. Like, it's fun to play, especially with with characters that are annoying or characters that do things that are mean or things that we wouldn't do as people. It's like, oh, I'm an actor. I get to play. I get to explore this other character type that I don't exhibit in everyday life. So being an actor is all about playing.
We're never annoying.
No,
not at all.
I'm a little sister. I'm never annoying. And my brother, exactly. That's what I try to tell my brother, but he won't listen. I'm like, I was born to annoy you. You don't understand.
That's cute. I like sibling love and sibling rivalry. That's good. It's a nice thing. I dig it.
Do you have a favorite character type?
Type?
Yeah, like a naive girl or your face, or the villain or something. Do you like naive girls?
I do. That's right. My favorite character is a naive girl. I try to do extensive studies with naive girls. No, I don't. No, I don't. I had to go for the joke. I always go for the joke. I can't help it. Is that annoying? I can't help it. I don't know if I have a favorite. I like any character I can really get into. Sometimes those are like overly evil characters, but see that makes like some characters are very like kind of resolved and kind of to himself and kind of quiet. I'll do those. Those are not my favorite to play. I have a good time letting myself go, and it's just someone out there just cackling. They can be evil or funny or anything. Thanks for the last I like all. Let's feel silly now.
For me, I think it's just, I'm a huge fan of characters that go on some kind of journey and they're not just the same, whether it's emotionally or, I enjoy playing characters that are affected by their circumstances and therefore change throughout the course of the series, because that, as an actor, me as an actor, that keeps me on my toes. So it's like, oh, well, she was like this right now, and then this happened to her, and now she's affected by it, and she's looking at the world differently. The way her lines are written has changed. Her voice has changed a little bit. So that's always interesting. I always am a really, really big fan of characters that I feel teach me something as an actor or help me grow, and those types of characters really push me and keep me on my toes and keep me like, oh, well, I'm not even going to pretend to know this character because they keep changing. So I love characters that are kind of all over the place. But I'm also a big fan of playing either evil characters or like more like, I guess, nitty-gritty types of characters, because I don't get to play them near as often. Yeah, or like the bad A, dark, tormented characters, because my bread and butter are the happy-go-lucky schoolgirls. So whenever so you feel my pain, right? Not that I'm complaining, but I love it when I get to do something that's a departure from that. So.
There is a category that I fall into a lot, which is fun to play. I seem to play a lot of bad guys that aren't necessarily evil, but for some reason, either they justifiably are seeking revenge, or they were just put in a bad situation, they were brainwashed or something, and so they're bad through most of the movie or the series, and then towards the end, when they die, you feel bad for them, because it wasn't there. That kind of character Yeah, the likable villain is what I tend to play. Like Kimimaro from Naruto was like that. Kusaka from Bleach Diamond Dust Rebellion was like that. Like you can't really hate them. They're not really bad. They're anti-heroes. They kind of teamed up with the wrong person. They were led astray, and so they gotta die, but you feel bad. You're like, oh man. Stark was kind of like that on Bleach recently. He was kind of like that too. When I do video games for like Naruto, does it get boring or annoying? Different from like doing the series? No, not at all. You know, it's funny because the video games, like more and more, because Kimimaro is this character who died in Naruto a long time ago, but keeps making appearances in video games, you know, fighting games. Like, why have him be dead? Why not bring it back, right? So, it's funny because they get shorter and shorter, the sessions. Because the further we get from him actually being around, they've already told his story so many times that they just kind of have to throw him in now like a bonus character. So it's actually, they're usually kind of quick. So I don't know as an actor if they're the most fulfilling sessions anymore, but he's kind of got to be in there. So, but I'm very happy for the work. So I'm like, if you want me to come in for like 2 words, I will, and I will love those. I will love those 2 words for you. I will say those words as many times as you want me to, and I will take that check, because I am an actor. Oh, he gets reanimated later, and will I be voicing him? I hope so. I hope so. If I had voiced him, I wouldn't be able to tell you right now, but I can say I hope so. I will be upset. And then I'll be here next year going like, yeah, somebody else. Last time he appeared and somebody else did it. So hopefully it will be me. I can neither confirm or deny that. Let's hope. You're doing it. Are you doing it? Are you doing Kimimaro? I am going to do so many of the schoolgirl characters now.
I almost said I'm going to do so many schoolgirls now. I was like, don't phrase it that way.
Right, no, I learned that the hard way because, like, when I first started voicing little boy roles, I'd always be like, yeah, you know, and then they're like, what kind of roles do you voice? I'm like, like, you know, schoolgirls. Sometimes I do voice little boys. I voice little boys. Voicing them, I make a voice and it comes out of the voice. Yes, dubbing. Like, I have to be so careful. That's even worse.
Yes, it is pretty bad. I don't know if it's worse, but doing schoolgirls is terrible. It sounds terrible. Yeah, let's move on. Who asked that question? It's our fault. That's my fault, I'm sure. I'll take full responsibility for that answer. It's my bad. I'm sorry. Any other questions? Remember, anything. Sky's the limit. I mean, ask me my favorite cereal if you like.
Inside your normal professional work, do you find that there's still a lot of time, especially within voice acting? I know that sometimes, at least during your practice, you try and experiment with different voices based off of like whatever base characters you have in terms of your, what you have in your pocket or whatever. In your experiments, what were some voices they say like, oh, I really like this one, I really want to do it, I hope they could, but it never commercially comes up. Was there anything that like it could be inside of your normal character strengths, or something you just tried that was just out there and you just wanted to try it and you really liked it? What kind of voice did you guys find that would be not that you wish they really like to do but don't have the commercial opportunities to do so?
That's an interesting question. I'm going to give you points for that question. I've never heard that. Have you heard that question before? It's a good question. Well, you know what's interesting about that? A lot of the experimentation is done in the audition process. I actually don't spend, it's a little bit of time, but I don't spend a ton of time like sitting at a home studio. I don't sit there and just come up with voices that often, because the truth is you're getting auditions all the time, and there's always opportunities to try stuff. So that's when I do it, because I'm going to be recording almost every day anyway from home to just audition, and that's when I get those out and I try them, and I actually store them all. I should keep them all on my computer, because you never know when you're going to need those. I mean, until I run out of room or whatever. It's amazing how much I store. It's a giant file. And some of them are probably embarrassing, and other ones, maybe I'll put an audiobook out one day with all my auditions or something, if anyone cares. But it would just be ridiculous. I know. Be interesting, some of them I'm sure. Yeah, that'd be cool for a panel, huh? I just have to make sure they're all auditions for things that have already been cast and done. And, I'll go through them sometime, that's a good idea.
The option to guess, did I book this or did I not
Right.
book this?
And you did not, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a voice. I've had voices that I've done. It's kind of funny because I had a voice, like even on my demo, like when I first was getting started, that's kind of a voice like this. So it's in here, right? This kind of grandiose thing, and it's just kind of a little nasally, and I had that. And it's been on my demo for like the longest time, and like some of my buddies would tease me because it was a voice I used to do when we were just goofing around and stuff. And I got an opportunity a couple of years ago. I didn't audition, but I got cast rather quickly. I think somebody couldn't do it, and I got a call thanks to a recommendation for, you guys know Monster High, or just heard Monster High. They do these Nickelodeon films, these movies. They do like one every year, and I did Escape from Skull Shores. And there's a character, the villain in that, his name is Bartleby Farnham, and they sent me the script, and I thought, oh my God, that's. They actually made a character that voice would be kind of perfect for. You know, he used to have a freak show. So he's kind of an entertainer, kind of top hat kind of thing, but deep down he's evil and he wants to manipulate these freaks of nature and make money off them. So I did that, and it ended up they loved it, and that's one of those shows they got to go through the focus groups, and like the kids are like, the little girls are like, it's too scary, and then you get recast immediately. By the way, that's another voice I can't wait to use.
I want to get captured in that place. Chris, you're only work, man.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. So I don't know. I don't have a hidden voice that I'm like, I'm gonna unleash this one day and the world will bow to me. But I like to think that I will just suddenly, I will release it. I just don't have it. It's not like Blue Steel. That's what you asked. If we have Blue Steel. If we have a Blue Steel. Zoolander fans, Zoolander, like, do we have a Blue Steel that's like one day? If I do, I'm gonna hide. That's my Blue Steel.
Very nice.
Be some serious voiceover parts. I love that question though. That's great.
For me, I've experimented. I mean, obviously we experiment with voices and all kinds of things. And I like pretty much what you said. I mean, usually they come out in auditions, or at Funimation when we do what are called WALA sessions, which means it stands for with all actors. And it's the only time at Funimation, at least, that you have more than one actor recording at once. Otherwise, we all record separately. And with WALA sessions is basically just like indistinguishable background chatter and like village scenes or city scenes, or we're at a festival and we need people talking in the background because it's nameless and faceless characters. It's just people talking in the background. And so that's a really, really good way to experiment with voices, because I guarantee the director's paying attention and he's listening and he'll be like, oh my God, like I've never heard that voice come out of you. That's awesome. Because WALA sessions, they're not scripted. Like they'll say, okay, this is what's going on, so you can talk about this, you can talk about this, but it's all improv. So you're not worried about matching flaps. You're not worried about, oh, am I getting my lines right? It's just talk and find someone to interact with, and it's great. I've also been very fortunate to work with a lot of directors that wanted to really push me and be like, okay, this is what you normally do. This is the kind of voice I'm looking for, and I think you could probably do it. Let's play with your voice a little bit and see what comes out. And so, I've been very fortunate to have directors that took the time to be like, hey, like for those of you that are watching One Piece, that's what happened with Fukuro. This like little, like we call him the garbage pail kid, because he's like this like giant ugly sir that wears a suit and he has a little bow tie and he's dapper. But he talks like this, and it's just really like, wah! And and when he's just talking with his friends, he's like, he always says chapapa after every single sentence. So he's like, oh my gosh, and then I went over here, chapapa. And then when he's doing a fight scene, he's like, I'm gonna kill you, chapapa. And so it's this very like, I don't do voices like that normally. And Mike McFarland was like, nah, let's do it. Let's rough you up. Let's gravel up that voice. Let's just do it. And then that's what ended up coming out. So it was great. Yeah, I don't think I have a Blue Steel.
You couldn't
either.
do it anyway. If we did have it, we couldn't.
I know, because people might steal them and steal our work.
Waiting for that right moment. And then actually get it. Or from the right
Biding your time.
Waiting for the right one, Shababa.
Chapapa. The right chapapa.
I love Chapapa. Can I start saying that?
Go for it.
Not when I'm recording, but just in life.
Chapapa.
Yeah, I like that Chapapa. Any other questions, Chapapa? You got one right over there. You there, Chapapa?
good because you work in California, right? So he works in California and I work in Texas. So we'll see how this differs and how it's the same. You want to go first? Yes. Well, because I've talked to people from. Oh, well, all right. Well, at Funimation, like I said, I'm just going off of how we do things at Funimation. I'm sure it varies depending on where you go. With Funimation, I was already an actor. I came from a theater background, and so I already had an acting resume of theater that I'd been a part of, and training and all sorts of things like that. So what Funimation asks for is they ask for you to submit an acting resume as well as what's called a character demo, which is like a minute and a half. Certainly no more than 2 minutes. I mean, it kind of varies. The shorter it is, probably the better. No, I just didn't know. No, I just didn't know you guys did things differently.
Certainly not over 2 minutes. No one would do that. That would be ridiculous.
That would just be preposterous. I mean, I don't even know like how you could get work over 2 minutes.
No one would listen to that.
But no, so like if it's any longer than that, they just won't even bother. That's pretty much industry standard, I think, no matter where you go. And it was basically just me talking in a bunch of different character voices, just reading just as many character voices as I could think of that I could fit in that amount of time. And then I submitted that to Funimation, and they apparently liked something that they heard, and they passed it around to the directors, and I was fortunate enough to get called in for an audition. I know that you can go about it that way. Sometimes if you're already a working actor and another working actor refers you to a director, sometimes that's how people get started. But I will say this, and I feel the need to say this every single time this question comes up. If you want to be a voice actor, and there are two things. One, be an actor first. Like, do not go into voice work just because you like cartoons or you think it sounds like it's fun. Like, be an actor first. And also, if you want to become a voice actor, don't pigeonhole yourself. Because anime voice work is not the only kind of anime voice work. There's commercial voice work, there's book on tape, there's radio, there's video games, there's all kinds of stuff. And so, with acting, it really doesn't matter what kind of acting you do. It's kind of feast or famine, wouldn't you say? I mean, you do it because you love it, and you do it because you're passionate, not because you think you're going to make tons of money. I personally feel like if you're doing it to make money or you're doing it for fame, that you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Right. I agree.
I mean, gosh,
It's absolutely the wrong reason. In fact, if I get a role that I think might get me some real serious screen credits, I turn it down.
No, I don't mean that.
I say, no, that's too easy.
No, I talk to people that are like, I want to be a voice actor so I can be famous. And it's like, no, it's okay if you want to. No, we certainly never turn down work, but I just mean if that's why you want to get into it, do it because you love it. Do it because you have a passion. Do it because, you shouldn't do, if you're pursuing something as difficult as acting, you need to have passion to get you through it, because it is a difficult business no matter what you're doing, so. But yeah, what's your take on it?
I don't remember what the question was anymore. No, that was great. I was into that. How did I get in? I guess it's a couple. I liked your tangent, though. It was very cool. And I agree with your tangent.
Well, you're very condescending.
Yes.
You're always passing condescending.
That was just that one game. Usually I'm like, hey, all right. Chee-chum, what am I supposed to say at the end of everything? Chee-chum, cut you down. Chop-a-pa. It was something, chop-a-pa. It was in my head. Chop-a-pa. Chop-a-pa, y'all. Yo, but I'm not going to say it cute anymore. I'm going to be like, yo, chop-a-pa. Yo, man, chop-a-pa. We all know that, okay? So, when you see me walking down the halls and stuff, be like, hey, man, chop-a-pa. But I want to hear it cool. No, that's totally different when you say it like that, right? Listen, say it. Chop-a-pa. Hey, chop-a-pa. Right? It's totally different. All right. It's a totally different thing. But I did steal it, sure. They know I stole it, but I've changed it. Please do. Please do. You're more than welcome to. How did I get into it? I wanted to be an actor. I'd done acting all through high school and such. My uncle called me up after I was out of high school and stuff, and he was going to produce a PBS special, and he had all this poetry he wanted read in different voices. And he had me audition for him. I auditioned on his answering machine. He said, call me back and just record some of this poetry that I sent you. Well, it was a casual, it was my uncle. It was a casual thing, but he wanted, he didn't want to just give it to me because he's like, I do want this to be good. And so he ended up casting me as a number of different characters. And when I went into an actual studio, there were other actors there, and did it, I fell in love. I just was like, are you kidding me? I can't believe that this is a job, a real job. I knew it was a job, But yeah, it was so much fun. I just loved it. I loved the no limitations. I was playing characters that clearly, you know, face-wise, I never would have been cast as these. They were the wrong age or whatever. There's no way. But vocally, I could do it. So then, I had to take a bunch of classes. I had a really, really slow start, and then I got a great gig. I ended up getting to work for Warner Brothers for, it gets better, for Chuck Jones on Chuck Jones' final project. Do you guys know who Chuck Jones is? Please tell me you know who Chuck Jones is. That's the only reaction, Chuck Jones. You guys don't know? Chuck Jones, Looney Tunes, one of the greatest animated directors ever. I mean, created Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and all those characters. So all those cartoons that you love, you know, like Kill the Wabbit, that's Chuck Jones directing that stuff. Also Grinch Who Stole Christmas. So I got to work on a web series, which ended up being, he was elderly at that point. It was the last series that he worked on, but I got to do a web series, and I got to do like 6 original Chuck Jones characters. It was like, I mean, it's one of those things like, no matter what I do, like that's always going to be up there, because you can't, few people can say that, so I'm very honored to have done that. And I was hoping that would be like the big, but it wasn't. That happened. It did okay. Warner Brothers only promoted it so well, and it was a great series to work on. I worked with some great people on it, and then it was still struggling. And then the thing that actually really got me to start working was I worked on a show called Edgar and Ellen, which is based on a book series, and they dubbed it. They wanted to dub it, and so I dubbed it, and I was working with 3 or 4 other cast members. And when we were finished, we were hanging out in the lobby, and one of them said something about anime. And I had grown up on anime, and I loved anime. And so I was like, anime, no way, I love anime, it's awesome. There's voices like this and voices like that, and there's always that old dude that talks like this. And I was just having fun, I was totally just goofing, riffing with these people. And then when everybody kind of left, the one guy walked over and he was like, hey, let me get your information. Do you have a demo or anything? It's like one of the other actors I'd worked with. And that was Kirk Thornton, who's done a trillion, billion, cajillion anime things. He directs, he's an actor, he's amazing, he's incredibly talented. And like a week later, he got me in at Bang Zoom Entertainment, and Samurai Champloo was the first thing that I got to work, just bit parts and stuff, but then it was gradually just getting into all the different studios. And they're all interconnected. So a lot of the studios, some studios will do not just anime, but they do video games, or they also do like the Avengers Marvel cartoon or Disney cartoons. So when you get in with the right people, they start sprinkling you into these other things, and hopefully you do well in those, and you get more and more work from that. So that was kind of one of the big things for me, because at least it got me working regularly, which is a big thing. I was very happy for that. So, and I do it to be famous. No, don't do it to be famous. If you walk out in the street and you just ask people randomly, like, hey, name 5 voice actors. They're lost. I mean, if you happen to be a fan, you might easily be able to do that, like, anybody, but that's not the reason to do it. You can be hopefully respected within the industry, but there's just a handful of us that I think would be really considered famous, like household name famous. So, yeah, we had long answers.
What anime did you grow up on?
You are the closest, and I can't hear you at all. And you're like right here.
What anime did you grow up on? You were talking about earlier.
What anime did you grow up on?
What anime did I grow up on? Thank you. I really couldn't hear you. I can't when there's music. I grew up on old school stuff. Speed Racer, Battle of the Planets, Kim of the White Lion, Marine Boy. Anybody remember Marine Boy? See, that's how old school Marine Boy is. Do you know Kim of the White Lion? Yeah. Okay, Marine Boy, I think was the same company that did Speed Racer and stuff. It's just like, hey, come on already. What's going on here? We're trying to talk here. It's crazy. I can't hear nothing. I know what's going on. They're going to be in here playing in a second. They're going to run through. The singer at a concert will come and run down the aisles, and they're going to do that through here. They're going to through all the. That would be funny. I would like that. Yeah. And, Robotech later on and stuff. But, I mean, early on, there weren't a lot of I didn't even know what anime was, like Transor Z, the Shogun Warriors. I used to watch the Shogun Warriors. I didn't know the difference. I just knew whatever this stuff was, I loved it. Because I was a little kid. I just flipping through the UHF channels trying to find stuff. And I also found like stuff like Ultraman and Godzilla and all these other things that I loved as well. But, I don't know, something about anime I loved.
know that it was called anime. The first anime I ever saw was when I was, oh gosh, in grade school, and I just caught a couple episodes of it, and that was before, you know, when you're really young, you don't understand TV schedules, so I'm just like, it was that one show on that one channel, and I don't know when I saw it, but it was good. And so I saw Sailor Moon, and I didn't know that's what it was until much later. But then in middle school, or no, I guess it was when I moved to California. I lived in California for a couple of years. I used to watch Toonami all the time, like the original Toonami, and from 2 to 4, and every single day. And so, you know, I was watching, you know, like the Tenchi series, and Outlaw Star, and Dragon Ball Z, and Blue Sub 6 and 8th MS Team, and you know, things like that. And so that was really fun and really cool. But like you said, I didn't know it was anime, and it wasn't until I moved to Texas, the group of girls that sort of adopted me into their circle of friends that I'm still friends with today, they liked anime. And so they were like, oh yeah, what you've been watching, it's called anime, and like it's actually like, it's not even made here, and it's really different, and it's really cool. And so yeah, and I started watching more and more, and gosh, I don't even know how many shows I've seen. but I love Toonami. I love that Toonami's back. I'm so excited about that. Yeah, so go anime, go. Yeah. All other kinds of stuff. Oh, Rurouni Kenshin was one of my favorites for a while. Yeah, I love that show. Oh my gosh. Apparently they're coming out with a live action.
They did.
They did. I am behind. When? You have my interest piqued.
Good live action.
They're doing good live action.
My goodness. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to forget
I'm
that.
always scared when it's a live action.
It's so good.
Well, it's
Like, I like Death Note. I saw the live action Death Note. I was like,
We watched it expecting it to be kind of campy.
yeah.
But it was actually good.
Well, good. Okay, let's check it out.
it's very cool. I like
It's
it.
very, very cool.
And there's a big sword.
There's a big sword in it? Why did you say that? And there's a big sword in it. This Friday. If you've only seen one movie, make it the live action anime favorite. Oh, we busted. What did we do? No, what did we do? We broke the PA.
Check, check, check. Why? How is it broken? In what way? You're gonna crank it up because of the... They all need microphones now because of the music here. You guys need mics? Everybody want their own mic? Yes! We want mics! We want mics! We want mics! How we... Don't give them mine, though.
You know that chant ain't gonna do anything.
Could you imagine the feedback if everyone here? Yeah, totally. Scanners would be like scanners. What happened in scanners? Hello. Did I ever do this? Hello, everyone.
If you're listening, then you're probably here. Listen. Oh, I sound like a woman. And there's a delay. Check. Check. A little Swahili. Swahili dubstep. I love dubstep. You guys watch Key and Peele? Yes. Have you seen their dubstep sketch? Oh, look that up if you haven't seen it. It is so funny. Wait for the drop. The what? It's so funny. Key and Peele. I don't make any money off them. I'm just shamelessly promoting them because they're funny. Any other question? Do I sound better? I sound too loud now, I think. Wait, you haven't asked anything yet, right? Yes. That's a good question. It's not, I don't know if it's building the character. For me, whether other actors are in the room, that helps me reaction-wise. Because you can really bounce off the intensity of the other actor, you know, when you hear how they deliver it. In anime, you're doing everything by yourself. It's worse than just not having actors with you if you're talking about building a character. A lot of times when I go in, at least for anime, sometimes you're pre-cast, which means you haven't auditioned at all. They just say, come on in, you've got a part in this, come in, you're playing so-and-so, and you don't know who that is. And you show up, and they show you a scene, here's your character, in Japanese, and they tell you a little bit about your character, and then it's like, okay, let's work on the voice just a little bit, and you spend 5 minutes coming up with a voice, and then it's like, you're on, go. So it's very different from traditional acting in theater or on screen, where you have, I don't know, a week, a month, 2 months, 3, I mean, depending on what it is, to work on this character. You have rehearsals to kind of let the idiosyncrasies come out. You're literally, I mean, it's like, here's your script. All right, let's work on some voices. And that's good. No, give me a little, a little grittier and a little, and remember he's, kind of, forlorn. He's kind of got a sad thing going on and go. So, I mean, you really don't get that. You kind of are building it on the fly. You kind of establish it, and you use a lot of the original Japanese to help you with, it doesn't help you with delivery, but it does in terms of intensity. You can really tell how sad they are or how scared they are, or whatever, by watching it.
And then, in the animation, if the character's crying, then obviously you probably need to put a little bit of a waver in your voice. Or, if their mouth is going rah, 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 they're probably yelling. So if they're going rah, giant wide Muppet flaps, then you can't be talking like this. It needs to be like you need to match the intensity of the visual that you're given, like you said, and not just the intensity of the sound of the dialogue in Japanese, but then also the visual as well, because otherwise it's going to look really silly. They're just partying out over there.
Can you use your question now?
What just happened? I don't even know.
Of course, we keep trying to answer questions. Right in front.
Favorite cereal?
My favorite cereal. This comes up all the time with me. I don't know what it is. Somebody's got to know. Somebody was here 2 years ago or something when I...
That's what she was trying to ask, too.
Is that what you were going to ask?
Yeah.
I'm serious about my cereal.
No, I'm just saying, like, cereals can be good. There's only one cereal that is great. And it's not Frosted Flakes.
Aww.
No. It's Captain Crunch. Yes. I love Captain Crunch. I love it. I would marry it if I could, yes, and I have tried, but I haven't been able to legally. I have not had Captain Crunch on top of frozen yogurt. I have to have non-dairy frozen yogurt. I'm goofy like that. I have to have Captain Crunch with, like, almond milk. It's still pretty good, but here's what I do. Are you guys ready? This is how much I love it. Rice Krispie treats? Nah, cha-pa-pa. I don't care about that stuff. I make it with Captain Crunch. Use the same recipe, use Captain Crunch, throw it in the fridge so it gets nice and cool. Oh, I'm telling you, it's the best thing ever. Ever. It's so good. It's really sweet, but it's really good. Do you want to say your favorite cereal?
You're going to probably hate me, but I'm not a huge cereal.
What? Tell me it isn't so, cha-pa-pa.
I don't like cereal. This is really bad, but I'm really bad about eating breakfast. So,
It's the most important meal.
I know, sorry. My schedule is usually, it's no excuse, I don't know. But I like healthier cereals, like Honey Bunches of Oats and Special K. But I will say this, one of my guilty pleasure cereals is Fruit Loops. It's good, yeah. I know, apparently they like it. They just turned up the music. Either that or they're shunning me. Check out that.
Okay, I don't know if this question has been asked because I just walked in, but how did you guys get to where you started out?
We answered that.
He'll show you the video. I'm filming on my knee. Oh, yeah. I me later, cringing and looking at this. Oh, God, I can't.
Do either of you know any Japanese?
I actually minored in Japanese in college. So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Kansa.
Well, I think we all have the same question, don't we? How do you say Captain Crunch in Japanese?
Captain Crunch. I can tell you how to say I love Captain Crunch in Japanese. Would you like to learn?
I would like to learn.
Okay. You want to repeat after me?
Yes.
Okay. Captain Crunchが大好きです。There you go.
Captain Crunchy Dai.
が大好きです。が大好きです。That's like you love. No. My voice always goes up naturally when I speak Japanese. I think because it's like kind of it's a beautiful language, but it's kind of nasally, so it's like, I don't know. And that I'm around Japanese all the time, and that's how they sound
So
when
I
they.
can say it like deep like this.
You can be like, yeah.
Captain Crunch.
が大好きで。が大好きです。Whoa! No, we have this joke at Funimation because in Japanese, they're always like the Japanese. Well, it's not just Japanese schoolgirls; it's everybody. It's just funnier when the Japanese schoolgirls do it. They always go hey, and so like we think it sounds like a race car, like changing gears. So me and Mike McFarlane would be like, hey. Oh my god.
I do something similar.
I go,
Hey, 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 I feel like going to school today.
no, it's not the same at all, is it? It's totally different. But it's a hey, hey, hey. That's Fat Albert in Japanese. Come on, everybody. Where else can you hear Fat Albert in Japanese? I want some Captain Crunch. How do I say Captain Crunch. God, that's good. Man, you remind me of a school in summer. How's that? No class. That's an actual Fat Albert joke, people. Don't judge me by it. Judge Mr. Cosby. Oh yeah, more questions. That was all off a question that we'd already answered. That was weird. Yes.
Do you have any particular other voice actors or studios you like to work with? In particular, or do you like a fan of, basically?
I would love to get more work out in your neck of the woods.
Come on out.
I've auditioned for movies, but you guys have unions there, though, so that gets a little. Do you have to be part of the union to be a voice actor?
No, you don't have to be part of the union, but if you're working on a union show, you do.
Well, yeah, but I know.
You do non-union work. We'll talk about that later. Is there you said a studio or a...
Studio or like another voice actor you're a fan of?
I can't... yeah, I don't know if there's a voice... there's a lot of... I respect so many voice actors, so I'm honored whoever... You know what I mean? Really, whoever I'm working with. And it's funny because I always assume, even if I'm in a room with like 10 other actors, if I'm like, I don't know who that dude is. You know what I mean? I always assume, you know what, he's probably done like 1,000 times more things than I've done. And I'll always go home and like Google them and be like, yep. It's like, it doesn't mean anything. So even if I don't know who they are, like that means nothing. I'm definitely not the end all be all. Like if I don't know them, then they're not. No. I'll be like, yeah, I don't know. I've never worked with this. I don't know. And they're like, God. Like, what? That was who? I'm so impressed. I aged. That's how impressed I got. I just aged. But I do work for a studio called Salami Studios that I really like because they always have food, including salami. They do. They always have food out. And a lot of studios will have food, but not as regular. This one is like, we just baked you some fresh cookies. It's like, oh, are you kidding me? That is awesome. Chop, choppy, done, chop. What is it? Chop-a-pie. That's awesome, chop-a-pie. I'm close.
It's close. Chop-a-pie.
It's better than cut down.
Yeah.
You're like, jump back, cut down.
They'll remind me when they sing it all.
There you go.
Chop-a-pie. I'm like, that's right.
That's right, that's it. See, I think we've got, how are we doing on time? We've got like 10 minutes left, I think. So if you guys have like rapid fire questions or dance monkey dance. Sure, or impressions or whatever. Yeah, go for it. You pick. Yeah. Because of unicorns.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You.
If there was a character in the anime show that you never actually got to voice act that you really wanted to, who was it?
Sailor Moon.
Whoever's got the longest career in that show, whoever's on it forever. Ichigo from Bleach. Naruto would be great. That'd be fantastic.
Favorite Pop-Tart?
S'mores.
Favorite Pop-Tart? Strawberry. No, cherry! Cherry.
Do your favorite impression. No?
Oh God, I don't know. Oh my God, you go.
Because you see, now, Rudy had a problem. And Lux was the only one that could fix it. So, Rudy took the popcorn, popsicle, Pop-Tart, and tried to eat it, but it was cherry and not the strawberry, and she said, that's good.
Yes. Same time.
Have either of you dressed up as Smoker before?
No.
As who?
It's one of my characters.
Yes.
Mocha. And he was probably... I'm not familiar with the new ones. Oh God.
I wanted to say Batsmaru, and that's totally wrong.
Sanrio.
I don't care. Batsmaru.
Is that your favorite Sanrio character?
My favorite cereal character is Captain Crunch. My favorite Sanrio character is Pikachu. I love Pikachu.
Pikachu!
Yes.
What is your favorite color?
Blue. And I mean that.
Red. Mine's red today. No! No, I'm sticking with it. I love it.
How long is your hair?
And it's longer when it's straight. It's like, woo!
I'm growing it. Ask me next year. We got time for more rapid fire.
You guys ever be interested in doing audio dramas?
Yes.
Yes, why not?
How much swag do you have?
Lots. I have an office.
Yeah.
Which voice actor would you want to pimp smack?
Would I want to pimp smack?
What does pimp smack entail? Pimp smack? I don't understand. Never mind. Oh, okay. I don't even know.
Like, where's my money slap?
Nobody.
Well, clearly an actor who makes a lot of money. So, where's my money? Anybody? Yeah, I don't want to be on film saying, do I pimp slap?
What's your zodiac signs?
Leo.
Capricorn.
Capricorn sounds like Captain Crunch.
What is your destiny?
It's written in the stars.
Eaten by a zombie or eaten by a titan?
Eaten by a zombie or eaten by a titan?
Yeah.
Titan.
I already said Titan. I don't believe you that it's better to get eaten by a zombie.
No.
I think Titan for sure. I love Titans. They're big. They're big. I want to be eaten by a mini Titan. A cute little mini Titan. They have to start small. I believe start small.
Mini titan.
Oh, that's cute.
Is the cake alive?
No.
Is the cake alive?
Yeah.
I heard that right.
Cake should never be a lie. That's my philosophy. No, that's
Cake is
horrible.
pretty straightforward. I'll tell you what cake's a lie. When you get a cake and it's got like strawberries on the top, but the filling is banana, that's a lie. Because I'm trusting that you're showing me what's going to be inside the cake. That pisses me off.
Or I guess red velvet is technically a lie because red velvet is not a flavor.
It's not even really red.
Yeah, it's like chocolate with red food coloring.
Yeah. I think red velvet's a
Did
lie.
we blow your minds?
So those food tables you get at the auditions or whatnot, what's the worst food you've actually eaten off one of those?
Fried frog's legs. What's the worst? I love the
Fried frog
You know
legs.
what? It's so good that like the worst thing is a little cute little salami sandwich, a little crackers that were perfectly crisp. That was the worst thing. That's how good it is.
Favorite magical creature?
Fairy.
I don't know.
Or dragon.
Elf. I like elves. They're organized. Yes.
If you could live on any island of Japan, which one would you pick?
They have names and I should know them. Kyushu is one of them. The main one. The big one.
And I would live on the small one. With my Captain Crunch, and I would be happy.
Favorite TV show?
Of all time.
Of right now.
Well, it was Dexter until that last episode.
Big Bang Theory. Yes.
By that?
Dogs or cats?
Oh, dogs.
I have both. I can't. That's like asking to choose one of my children.
Choose one of your children. Choose one of your children. Make that the next question. choose. Look how
I guess dogs, because I have a Newfoundland and he's super cute. He's a big fluffy puppy and he weighs 150 pounds and he's cute. Anyway, next question.
Yes.
Chapapa, what does the fox say?
Chapapa, what does the fox say?
Ding, 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 ding. You need to come and get up and do the dance. What does the fox say? Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. What the fox say? It always sounds like they're saying something bad, though. It's like, what the? No,
Sounds like
it's
it.
fox.
What does the fox say?
Working for Andrew, working under Andrew and Ramada, was that a dream? Big dream? That a big dream?
Yes. Yes, it is. I worked with her a few times. She directs Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a few of the incidental things for Warcraft and StarCraft. She's awesome. She's fantastic. She's wonderful. A sweetheart, and she's incredibly talented.
So you worked for her before?
I have, and it is agreeable. It is every time. I'm very happy.
Yes, for sure. I'm always, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be, yeah. Most what? Most outrageous cosplay.
I don't know, but you know, for Halloween, there was an actual, I was at a studio, there was an actual pregnant woman who had a t-shirt on, and she had 2 baby arms sticking out, with like blood dripping down here, and it was holding like a cute little elephant, stuffed elephant. So the hands were bursting out and holding a stuffed animal, and it was so gross and cute at the same time. That was pretty awesome. And you can't pull it off if you're not really pregnant. She was really pregnant, so. Because the other way, it's just, you're just trying to shock people. I have not gotten
to work with him. I worked on the video games, the Cybertron video games, and all the actors came in separately on that. So he did work on the project, but I did not get to work with him. I wish I could have. I would love to have worked with anybody else in the project. It would have been fun. No, it was a good time being able to do those. It was kind of interesting because for Rumble and Blast Off, it was a long audition process. They said, here's the original. We want you to do it like the original. I did that. I sent it in to them. Then they said, you know what? I think we're going to go with kind of like the film Transformers, the Frenzy. I don't even know if you knew that was Frenzy, that sabotages the airplane in the beginning. Okay, so then they said, do it like this, and I did that. And then they said, never mind, do it like the original ones again. And I did that, and then they finally booked me for it. And then Blast Off, they just brought me in and didn't even tell me he was already a character. They just said, do something. I did something. They said, yeah, we like that. Of those, Rumble and Frenzy are like hand in hand. I like Rumble and Frenzy, but I can't separate them because they're actually like the same voice. You know what I mean? Even the original guy who did it, they were like the same dude, like 2 parts of the same whole. So you're not going to make me pick between Rumble and Frenzy, are you? Yes. I think so. But what do I know? It's okay.
Oh, not for an hour. So we're out of time for this panel, but I wanted to let you guys know that I'm doing a scary story panel at 9 o'clock, and it's in Omaha C. And so I've never done this before. It's experimental, but we're just going to tell scary stories. Not just me, but like everybody. So if you have a scary story, whether it's true or not, come tell scary stories and get scared. Since Halloween was yesterday. And why stop there? Huh? It's at 10 o'clock. Yes. It's at 10 o'clock. I'm sorry.
I was like, everybody's going to leave. I'm like,
No, 10 o'clock. I'm sorry. No, 10 o'clock. Bye-bye.
But I'm glad it's not. That's 10 o'clock, folks.
All right, so coming up next, meaning like right now, is just so they know. So, you got somewhere to go, but we've got the Keith Silverstein surprise panel, which is going to be, surprise! So I have 2 options for this, because I have some stuff like I want to give away, so I was thinking about doing a little preview of my panel that I'm going to do tomorrow, which is the voiceover challenge games thing. Did any of you guys go to that last year that I did? It was the first year I did it.